Well, I said, I didn't want to be so impressed in front of him that he would change his mind. So I said, sure, but I leave in 10 minutes. So he said, no problem, I'm ready. I'm like,
Few stories in music feel as deeply personal as that of Celine Dion and her son, bound by love through unimaginable hardship. Imagine watching someone you admire battle a rare illness, then return stronger than ever. Her powerful comeback at the Paris Olympics stunned the world. But for her son, Rene Charles, it was more than a performance. It was the emotional culmination of years of struggle, resilience, and a family refusing to give up when everything seemed uncertain. The emotional toll on Rene Charles. For Rene Charles, watching his mother battle a debilitating illness was a profound emotional journey that tested him in unexpected ways. The fear, hope, and moments of doubt he experienced were not always visible to the outside world, but they shaped his growth and perspective. Seeing his mother struggle with something no one else could fully understand was a heavy burden for any child, but he faced it with quiet resolve. There were times when Rene Charles overheard his mother voicing real fears, moments of vulnerability when she questioned if it was time to let go. Hearing those words shook him to his core and triggered a painful acceptance that her career, their lives, might never be the same again. Despite this, his belief in her strength never wavered, and he became a source of encouragement she could lean on. The emotional weight carried by Rene Charles intensified as he juggled his own adolescence with the responsibility of supporting a mother in crisis. He quietly became her cheerleader, gently reminding her of everything she had already overcome and the resilience she still possessed. His presence during grueling therapy sessions and rehearsals was often the comfort she needed to keep pushing forward. His dedication extended beyond mere encouragement. Rene Charles took an active role in maintaining family balance. He nurtured his brothers, ensuring they felt secure and understood in a home overshadowed by illness. His growing maturity was visible, transforming him from a boy into a young man shaped by love, strength, and sacrifice. The emotional bond between mother and son was especially poignant during challenging days when the physical symptoms overwhelmed Dion. Rene Charles found ways to uplift her spirits, even offering moments of humor when tensions ran high. A light-hearted comment during a difficult rehearsal, joking that she was making the rest of them look lazy, brought a smile and helped ease the strain. Behind the scenes, Rene Charles's reaction to his mother's comeback performance at the Paris Olympics was deeply touching. His tears were more than pride. They were a release of years of worry, hope, fear, and love all at once. Watching Dion reclaim her stage after such a fragile and uncertain period was a moment of profound personal victory for him. He also carried the memory of his late father, Rene Charles, imagining how proud he would have been. The presence of that love and belief in her talent, passed down through the family, felt tangible in that moment. Rene Charles's tears embodied that legacy of strength and a family's unbreakable bond. Reflecting on the performance later, Rene Charles described it as overwhelming, not simply because of the music, but because it symbolized what his mother had fought and conquered. It was a testament to fighting back, to resilience, and to love that transcends hardship. His emotions spoke volumes about the deep impact this journey had on his life. The close connection and emotional depth between mother and son made the journey not only bearable, but filled with moments of hope and victory. The profound bond within the family fueled every step of Celine Dion's comeback, illuminating the strength found in love amid adversity. The hidden battle begins. Celine Dion's return to the stage at the Paris 2024 Olympics was a moment of triumph, but few knew the secret battle she had been fighting for years. Behind the glamour and global recognition lay a deeply personal struggle that had threatened everything she held dear. For her family, especially her eldest son, Rene Charles, this was more than just a career challenge. It was a fight for survival and hope. The early signs were subtle but troubling, as her health began to affect not only her performances, but the very way she moved through daily life. Long before the public was aware, Dion faced growing physical difficulties that gradually intensified over time. Muscles stiffened without warning, spasms disrupted rehearsals, and she found herself wrestling with a body that no longer obeyed her will. Her determination carried her forward, but beneath the surface, there was fear and uncertainty. Watching a beloved mother and icon wrestle with invisible pain left a mark on Rene Charles, who often felt powerless. Backstage at the Olympics, when Rene Charles wiped his tears, it was not just the beauty of the performance that moved him. It was the memory of a woman who had once insisted her symptoms were nothing serious, despite mounting evidence to the contrary. He recalled the frustration of hearing his mother push through limitations she couldn't fully admit. The emotional weight behind her comeback was one he had carried silently for years. This battle was not new. It unfolded in quiet moments long before her stunning reemergence on the world stage. Dion's career had already been shaped by resilience, but this hidden health crisis presented an entirely different challenge. For fans, and even many close to her, the extent of her struggle remained a mystery. The emotional toll on the family, especially on Rene Charles, deepened as he witnessed the gradual erosion of the mother he had always known as strong and invincible. Despite the setbacks, Dion's spirit refused to break. Her family rallied, providing support that was as vital as any medical treatment. Rene Charles stepped into a role fraught with responsibility, balancing his own adolescence with the demands of helping his mother fight an invisible enemy. This battle would eventually force Dion to pause, reflect, and reveal the truth that few had expected. Her journey toward healing was marked by uncertainty and relentless effort. The fear of what her body might no longer be able to do coexisted with a fierce will to reclaim her voice and stage presence. The scene backstage at the Olympics held a culmination of years of struggle, hope, and an unspoken promise between mother and son. Yet, the full story of her illness, which would explain the depth of their ordeal, was still to come. For now, Rene Charles was living in a world where pride and vulnerability intertwined. Every tear he shed was a testament not just to his mother's strength, but to the profound impact her illness had on their family's life. The unspoken truths behind Dion's transformation would soon unravel, shedding light on a condition few had heard of and the remarkable courage she showed in the face of it. Her story challenges the idea of what it means to be an icon. Beneath the spotlight, there was a fragile human being grappling with pain and doubt. This hidden battle set the stage for a comeback that demanded not just talent, but extraordinary resilience. It was a turning point for Dion and for the family that had become her greatest source of strength. The journey from private struggle to public triumph was long and uncertain, but it revealed the profound depths of love and perseverance. What came next was the key to understanding the magnitude of this struggle, a rare and complex illness that redefined her life and career. Transitioning from the quiet beginnings of this battle, it's essential to understand the condition that tested Dion like never before. Understanding Stiff Person Syndrome. Stiff Person Syndrome, or SPS, is a rare neurological disorder that affects only about 1 in a million people worldwide. It disrupts the body's muscles, causing severe stiffness and painful spasms that can make even simple movements difficult. For a performer like Celine Dion, whose career depended on fluid motion and vocal control, SPS was not just a diagnosis. It was a potential end to everything she loved. The autoimmune condition destroys the nervous system, which results in permanent muscle stiffness and uncontrolled muscle movements. People with this condition experience a feeling of being imprisoned within their bodies, which prevents them from showing their complete range of emotions and physical movements. Dion lost her ability to control her body parts and her essential singing voice, which formed the core of her identity and career as a singer. The diagnostic process for SPS became challenging because its complex nature created difficulties in identifying the condition during its initial phase, when it presented symptoms that resembled other health problems. Dion showed multiple disturbing symptoms for 12 years, which medical professionals found impossible to diagnose. During her performances, she experienced muscle spasms that paralyzed her body on stage, while her singing voice created additional difficulties for her. The medical evaluation eventually confirmed his diagnosis after multiple years of observing his serious health issues. SPS treatment represents an unending struggle for patients. The medical procedure aims to alleviate symptoms through the application of muscle relaxant substances and physical therapy programs, which help patients retain their ability to move while experiencing reduced muscle contractions. The condition creates unexpected fluctuations, which result in daily life becoming an ongoing battle. Dion experienced physical exhaustion, which matched her emotional distress from dealing with unpredictable situations. The uncommonness of this condition results in only a few people who can understand its actual effects. Dion's public disclosure of SPS brought essential recognition to a medical condition that most people do not know about. Her story showed the physical challenges that people must handle while dealing with a medical condition that leads to both mental and physical challenges. Dion received a diagnosis, which brought her understanding of her condition through her continuous battle with symptoms for several years. She started her recovery program under expert care, which included vocal therapy and physical rehabilitation, along with medications to treat muscle stiffness and spasms. The program needed her to stay committed while developing self-control, which matched the dedication that had propelled her to success in her artistic work. Dion developed a strong connection with her personal identity through her battle against SPS. She redirected her efforts toward regaining her lost strength, which she needed to make a comeback that others considered impossible. Her story demonstrates how rare diseases can affect anyone, including successful people, while showing that people can find hope during their most challenging moments. With a clearer understanding of SPS, it becomes even more remarkable how her earliest symptoms quietly set the stage for a long, difficult journey. Early signs and silent struggles. The troubles with Celine Dion's health began long before the public ever sensed a problem. As early as 2008, during her Taking Chances world tour in Germany, subtle symptoms started to emerge. She experienced vocal fluctuations she couldn't control, and stiffness in her limbs that hampered her performances. While these might have seemed isolated incidents to outsiders, for Dion, they were the early whispers of something far more serious. Over the years, these symptoms became increasingly severe and frequent. Muscle spasms would sometimes leave her frozen on stage, immobilized for moments that felt like an eternity. She described the sensation as losing control over her own body, a frightening experience for anyone, let alone a world-renowned artist whose voice and movement are her instruments. During this period, Dion relied heavily on high doses of Valium to manage her spasms and pain. The medication helped temporarily, but it lost effectiveness over time, making each performance more challenging. She was caught between the need to fulfill her career obligations and the reality of a body growing more unpredictable and resistant with every day. The emotional strain of these physical challenges was compounded when Dion faced skepticism from those around her. The woman had difficulty explaining the severity of her symptoms because she tried to minimize them for the sake of her fans and family. Yet her son, Rene Charles, could see the truth behind the facade. He sometimes accused her of hiding the full extent of her pain, calling out the gap between appearance and reality. The silent battles that Dion and her family fought during these years created a hidden path that led to their development of inner strength. They faced times of optimism and times of despair while learning to create their own way through a life that brought them unpredictable situations. The simple activities of cooking and playing with her children became major achievements for her because her illness restricted her ability to function normally. Dion maintained her commitment to her goals despite facing both physical and emotional obstacles. She kept performing even though she experienced exhaustion and muscle spasms because she believed her strength would return to normal someday. The path she traveled remained hidden from public view until her diagnosis because only her closest companions knew about her endurance test. Her growing challenges reached a point that required her to take a break from work. Dion canceled her Las Vegas residency after October 2021 because she became unable to rehearse because of her severe spasms. The moment marked a turning point when her health situation became too obvious for people to doubt, which made her dedicate all her efforts toward healing and recovery. Looking back, those early signs reflect not only the start of her illness, but also the strength it took to face each day, uncertain of what might come next. It was a journey that would require every ounce of courage from Dion and the closest members of her family, especially Rene Charles. As her condition unfolded in these early stages, the role of her family grew ever more crucial, setting the scene for the next chapter of their shared story. Family roles amid crisis. Throughout Celine Dion's health battles, her family became an unshakable foundation, offering more than just emotional support. They were her lifeline. Rene Charles, her eldest son, stepped up in ways that went far beyond typical family dynamics, adapting quickly to the gravity of the situation. At just 14 years old, when the illness took hold, he found himself balancing the pressures of adolescence with the weight of responsibility for his mother's well-being and the stability of the household. The role of Rene Charles extended beyond his duties as a caregiver because he also provided his brother with continuous support and optimism. He went with Dion to her medical appointments and treatment sessions where he would remain next to her in silence during times when she could not speak. His backstage presence at rehearsals functioned as a demonstration of his strong support, which showed that she would always have his backing even when future events appeared to be unpredictable. Rene Charles provided assistance to his mother while he also assumed responsibility for his twin brothers, Eddie and Nelson. The twins at 13 viewed their older brother as both their protector and their role model who faced challenges with both courage and calmness. Rene Charles established a secure environment for his brothers through his presence at homework sessions and hockey games, and through his support during their day-to-day life, which occurred during family disruptions. Celine Dion herself spoke often about how the family bonded through this hardship, drawing strength from one another. The children found comfort through their open discussions, which helped them better understand her condition. Rene Charles, in particular, became a quiet leader, encouraging his siblings and helping to keep the family united during uncertain times. The family showed emotional resilience through their shared bond, which created an emotional and operational strength that existed between them. Dion recognized the immense emotional labor her son carried and was deeply moved by his maturity and kindness. Their relationship grew stronger through their shared experiences, which created a special connection between them. The family found numerous occasions to demonstrate their support through private family stories, which showed their dedication to Rene Charles, who wrote uplifting notes to his sister during her challenging therapy sessions. The note stated, "You are the strongest person I know. You will succeed because you need to continue working through this challenge." Dion found her motivation through the message that her husband gave her because it showed the love that helped her progress. The public saw a strong star who planned to reclaim her performance space, while her family used their shared struggles to maintain their close bond. The group's combined effort not only helped Dion maintain her balance, but also provided her with moments of contentment and optimism, which she experienced during challenging times. Her recovery process depended on their combined strength, which formed the necessary foundation for her healing. Rene Charles developed his new role in the family while he moved forward to complete his transformation from childhood into adulthood. He developed into a reliable person who protected his family from the emotional turmoil at home while he pursued his professional objectives. The duty he carried forward through that period provided him with an essential motivation because he faced an unpredictable future. Dion achieved her treatment progress through her family's continuous support, which made it possible for her to tackle every challenge that came her way. Rene Charles, together with his brothers, established their emotional presence, which created the atmosphere for his successful return to sports. Even as the body faces the harshest tests, the heart of a family keeps beating strong, refusing to succumb to despair. Preparing for a moment of truth. The months before Celine Dion returned to perform at the Paris Olympics required her to undergo extensive physical and emotional training. She developed a strict training schedule after spending several years in doubt because she wanted to restore her physical strength and improve her singing abilities. The performance required her to prepare, but it served to help her recover a lost part of herself that illness had taken from her. Daily life required her to maintain both patience and determination while she battled ongoing physical obstacles. Her oldest child, Rene Charles, maintained a permanent role in her life during the show periods. He provided silent yet powerful assistance to her, which helped her maintain balance throughout her demanding practice sessions and treatment periods. His consistent support served as a reminder of the love and belief that sustained his mother during her most difficult times. The family bond created a fundamental energy source that helped Dion maintain her determination to achieve success despite all challenges. The rehearsal process became unpredictable because SPS displayed unpredictable behavior. The rehearsal process encountered interruptions when muscle spasms or stiffness affected Dion's ability to perform. She used the challenge to show her determination because she never allowed setbacks to make her feel discouraged. The physical demands created major challenges, but the emotional weight of her goals mattered more than any physical requirements. The period allowed Dion to develop her physical abilities, vocal capabilities, and mental concentration abilities. She recognized that her Olympic performance would serve as both a restitution and a public emotional display. The uncertainties were vast because she needed to determine whether her body would function properly, while her fans expected her to sing with the same intensity and emotional depth that they loved. The conflicting emotions she experienced during her training process created a strong need for her to train more intensely. Her need to keep her training activities hidden from others created intense stress for her. Her close contacts were the only people who understood her complete training process. She used discretion to maintain her concentration, but this decision brought her to a situation where everything she did became crucial. Every rehearsal became a challenge for her because she had to manage both her own expectations and those of others who watched her. Dion received silent support from her children, who formed a supportive network that created affection for her. Through their intimate discussions, she explained her daily life with SPS while showing him that she could succeed in her battle against her condition. Through her honest expressions of emotions, she built a base that enabled her to confront future obstacles through courageous actions. The treatment process requires both physical therapy and vocal therapy for all individuals. Dion worked through her daily 5-day schedule because she needed to combat her severe illness symptoms through intensive treatment. Her technical skills development process required both technical skills restoration and her confidence growth, together with her artistic identity reclamation. She progressed through her stretching and vocal exercises until she reached the peak moment of her independent journey. The ceremony day brought both excitement and uneasiness to the attendees as it drew closer. Dion demonstrated her commitment to her work through her backstage presence, which showed she dedicated herself to both performance and survival skills throughout her preparation. She had undergone transformation through her experiences, yet she stood ready to tackle the significant difficulties before her with elegance. The stage was set for a performance that would resonate far beyond the music itself, carrying the weight of an extraordinary personal journey. The Paris Olympics performance. On July 26, 2024, Celine Dion made an unforgettable return to the global stage at the Paris Olympics opening ceremony. This was not just a display of vocal prowess, but a symbolic moment of resilience, a testament to a woman who had fought to reclaim her voice and presence against staggering odds. The significance of choosing Hymne à l'amour went beyond its beautiful melody. It echoed Dion's personal journey of love, loss, and defiance. The song's themes of unwavering devotion in the face of hardship mirrored her struggles with SPS, the loss of her husband, and the unwavering support of her family. Every note she sang carried emotional weight, connecting deeply with the crowd and reminding the world of her indomitable spirit. Dion's voice, while carrying subtle traces of the physical battles she endured, was suffused with power and raw emotion. It was a voice that had been tested by the harshest trials, but refused to be silenced. The performance transcended technique, becoming a moving narrative of triumph and hope, captivating not only longtime fans, but also those witnessing her comeback for the first time. Her appearance was striking, elegantly dressed and radiant under the Olympic lights. From the first note, a hush fell over the audience, and a stillness took hold that spoke to the magnitude of the moment. It was clear that this was more than a performance. It was a declaration that despite everything, she remained a commanding force in music. The response was overwhelming. Thunderous applause and standing ovations filled the stadium. Many in the crowd were visibly moved to tears, not just by her artistry, but by the story of survival and love that her presence conveyed. Social media erupted with praise, hailing the event as a defining moment of the Games and a triumph of the human spirit. Backstage, Rene Charles's reaction was deeply emotional. Watching his mother sing with such renewed strength and passion, he felt a rush of pride, relief, and awe. Tears streamed down his face as he reflected on all she had overcome, the uncertain days, the pain, and the relentless fight to return. In that moment, he was not just a son witnessing a performance, but a participant in a shared victory. He also felt the presence of his late father, Rene Charles, imagining how proud he would have been to see the family's resilience shining so brightly. The performance symbolized more than a career milestone. It was the embodiment of love, loss, and the unbreakable bonds that had carried them through unimaginable trials. Critics and fans alike recognized the depth of this moment. That night, Dion reclaimed not only her musical legacy, but also her identity. The performance became a beacon of hope for anyone facing daunting challenges, reminding the world that even in the darkest times, perseverance and support can lead to renewal. This landmark event marked a turning point in Dion's recovery and career, a public affirmation that while her journey was far from over, she had reclaimed her voice and spirit in a way that would inspire generations to come. The triumph on stage was mirrored by the quiet, powerful emotions shared backstage, an intimate testament to a family's strength and a woman's unyielding will. With the magic and gravity of that night still fresh, the story now gathers to explore the enduring impact and deep bonds that made such a transformation possible. Aftermath and unbreakable bonds. The night Celine Dion returned to the Paris Olympics stage created an unforgettable experience, which later developed into the actual events that occurred behind the scenes. His eldest son, Rene Charles, remained silent because he felt overwhelmed, and his tears displayed the emotional burden of his life, which included his fears, his hopes, and his hidden strength. He recognized his mother in that moment when he saw a worldwide celebrity who had fought to regain her vocal abilities and her complete control of her existence. Their embrace after the performance said everything. The performance established their emotional connection, which had developed through their shared experience of facing health challenges and life uncertainty before achieving their public success. Rene Charles received evidence that his belief system had protected him through his most difficult times because he maintained his faith until that time of proof. The impact extended beyond the family circle because fans from multiple countries worldwide who had tracked Dion's medical issues started to share their messages of admiration and gratitude through social media platforms. Her return exceeded the boundaries of a performance because it created a shared experience of strength, which connected with everyone who faced their individual challenges. The people who had the closest connection to her, particularly her children, found the moment to have more significant value. Rene Charles showed his mixed emotions through his reaction, which combined feelings of pride and relief with an act of emotional release. The public achievement served as a reminder that every successful person must endure a path that demands both personal dedication and enduring trust from others. Dion used her stage appearance to establish her identity through her stage performance. She demonstrated that resilience can withstand all obstacles because she achieved success after encountering multiple challenges. Through her voice, she delivered music that carried the full force of her past experiences. The applause created a sound that stopped, but the audience created an enduring outcome through their presentation of a family-based strength story. They transformed their difficult times into a powerful experience, which demonstrated that love and unity can help people survive their most difficult moments. Celine Dion's journey is one of incredible strength, love, and determination that touched the hearts of millions. Her son Rene Charles's heartfelt reaction showed us the true power of family support during life's toughest battles. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more uplifting journeys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.